Welcome to Kat's Candid Conversations. Kat McKeno is an award-winning journalist who has interviewed compelling people and organizations from around the world who make a difference.
First-generation Dominican American Vanessa Acosta is the Republican candidate for the Pennsylvania House of Representatives for District 49, which encompasses the southern half of Lancaster City, Lancaster Township, and Millersville. She's running against incumbent Democrat Ismail Smith Wade-El. A very warm welcome to the show, Vanessa.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Let's start at the beginning. For our listeners who don't know a lot about you, tell us who you are and how did you get to this point?
Okay. Well, I was born in New York, and my mom's Dominican and my dad's Puerto Rican. I'm a part of a single mom home, so my mom raised me on her own. I've been here in Pennsylvania for about 12 years. I've worked in the insurance industry for those 12 years. I've been involved in the community in different aspects, and I started to get more involved as soon as COVID came around, and I started getting to go to the school board meetings. And I guess the whole thing was with the mask and not wearing the mask. And so that whole debate, if you go back in time, everybody was going to school board meetings. It was a very big thing. Mm-hmm. And I started to realize that there are certain people who make these decisions and we vote them in. And I didn't understand that. So whenever I thought about politics, I've always been raised to think of the president, and that's it. And so dealing with masks and the debates that were going on and all the school board meetings, I realized that local politics is where it's at. And I started to realize, okay, these are the people I don't want on my school board. And that's how I got involved in politics with the school board. And then from the school board, I got involved in the Women's Republican. And last Christmas, I went to a brunch, and they pretty much threw me out there, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to run. So that's how I got to this point. I really care about the community, and I want to be part of the solution instead of being part of the problem or being one of those people who just talk on the sidelines.
Why do you think they threw you out there?
I think that they threw me out there because of my spunk, and I also believe that right now, I don't know, but right now it's identity politics. And I think that I look like the perfect candidate. If we are honest about how politics is going, there is a lot of black-white. And so I check the boxes. I'm a woman, I'm Latina, and I'm also black. So that's something that looks very desirable for the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. So I believe that's why I was chosen, because I don't know any other reason, if I'm being completely honest, which I don't know if this is going to be really like controversial, but I'm just keeping it genuine because that's the only way I know how to be, honestly. And that's why I had notes, because if I talk from my head, things come out and I'm just like, is that the right thing to say? But that's what I believe. I believe that there is identity politics. And I also feel like so many people are afraid, and I don't give off the impression as if I'm afraid. And to be honest, I'm not. I'm afraid in certain aspects, but I'm not afraid to take a step. As a single parent, it's scary, and when you have to do things on your own, you're always scared to take a step, but it doesn't stop you from taking those steps. And that's why I believe that it's good to run, because it helps me build character, and other people will identify with who I am as a person.
So you believe in telling people what your stand is, what you're thinking of certain issues.
I do believe that, but I also don't want to be hurt physically or verbally. So sometimes I think, is it worth it? Is it worth telling someone how I feel if they're going to try to hurt me? Or
what do you mean hurt you? How would they hurt you?
Like try to hit me or something. Or, I mean, I don't know. Social media is getting really crazy. And you see some videos and you say, whoo, maybe I shouldn't run, or maybe I shouldn't say that. So that's what I mean by that. I've seen people get hurt over their opinions. I've actually heard of people actually being murdered over their opinions. And so that gets you to feel a little scared to say what's on your mind.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen some of the comments on social media. They can be pretty brutal.
Oh, yeah. And what I realize is, as a minority Republican, it's almost okay to be racist. You can say things like, I've heard people tell me, how are you a Republican when they're deporting your people? As if I'm not an American, and as if anyone who speaks Spanish or looks like me isn't American. Because America has all kinds of people. And I feel like we've moved so far from that. Like, it's like, I don't know where people's heads have gone. You see someone speak a different language, you automatically assume they're an immigrant. When we talk about immigrants, we talk about, cleaning toilets. Like, I've heard people say, well, who's going to clean your toilets then? And that's really racist and mean, and this is just being honest, right? We do clean the best. I say that with a badge of honor. Yeah, we clean the best, right? But that doesn't mean that's all we're qualified to do here in America. Clean toilets and pick vegetables and crops.
So you're saying there's stereotypes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very much so. And there are people who say that they stand for people who look like me while discriminating and being, I say that's racist, to classify me as an immigrant because I speak Spanish. I would say that is. I mean,
where do you stand on ICE? How do you think ICE is handling the immigrant situation?
Well, if I'm honest, which I already said, I got to stop saying that because I started this podcast saying that, right? So as far as ICE, I think how they're handling it, I'm not following every single case to have a opinion and say that they're doing wrong, but they're law enforcement, and I figured they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? It's kind of like the same way you would feel about ICE, I feel like you would feel about the military. So you go into a country, you may not agree with it, but they're still Americans. And guess what? In the military and in ICE, you got black, you got Spanish, you got white, you got everything. So to be against ICE, to me, it's almost like being against America. It's okay that you don't agree with people being taken out of this country, but you could maybe vote a way, and if your state doesn't vote that way, then get education, get involved. That is how we make changes. We don't make changes by trying to stop these people from doing their job or getting hurt. Like, sad stories of people losing their lives over this. And you wouldn't do that to a police officer. I don't understand why it's okay to do it to ICE officers. So that's my stance on it. I mean,
What do you mean people have lost their jobs over it?
Lost their lives, not
lost
jobs.
Their jobs.
Lost their lives.
People who are in ICE, the ICE
People
office.
who have tried to stop ICE, interfere with certain things that ICE was doing, have lost their lives over it. And it's sad because on both sides, those are Americans. And so for us to be against them, we're not helping. What we need to do is find a middle ground. And the middle ground is figure out where you can serve in politics so you can make these changes instead of going out and getting hurt or encouraging other people to go out and get hurt. And I mean physically, like really, not hurt feelings, like people actually getting beat up. I think that's where, if I have any way of affecting my community, that's what I want. I want more unity. I want more people to understand that they're Americans, and for us to stop picking blue and red, because guess what? Your neighbor, that might be a red person. If you have a problem here in your home, you're going to go over to him. You're not going to go try to find a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. You're going to find your neighbor. And I think that we need to start loving our neighbors more and figure out how we can come together, even though we may not agree on certain politics or bills or ICE or how they're doing it. We need to figure out a middle ground. Like, America, we need to get it together. And that's the only reason I'm stepping up.
How do you think we can come together?
What I think we have to remember who our neighbors are. It's not that party, it's people. We have to find a way to build more community. I mean, so in the neighborhood that I live in, there's children and they're outside. And between all the parents, we understand that if we see your child doing something, we're going to say, hey, no, don't do that, right? More of that needs to happen. And like, I've never asked any parent, well, who did you vote for? You know what I mean? Because if you didn't vote for who I think you voted for, I'm not looking at your kid, right? And there are people out here like that, whether it's red or blue. They literally will not help you. They're okay with discriminating against you if you don't believe what they believe. I think it's okay to have difference of opinion and work together. But somehow we've lost that. We have difference of opinion and we do not want to work together.
Have you ever been discriminated against?
Yes.
What happened?
I was yelled at because they seen that I was a Republican.
Where was this?
It was social media. There's lives and people get on lives and they called me stupid. They called me a coon. They called me a house, you know what, the N-word. And it was okay. It was okay for all these people. Now, granted, maybe
they actually called you the N-word on social media?
Yeah.
How did they even know you were black?
Well, it's social media, so you have your face, and I don't hide that, who I am, usually, so when you get on these platforms, they'll say, hey, so, they'll ask you, are you white, are you black, or, you know what I mean, and then you introduce yourself, say your age and who you are, and so they'll look at your little picture, and they'll decide what they think you are, so... That's how that works.
Just out of nowhere, they called you the N-word, or...
Oh, no, they didn't like how... The things that I just said, it even makes me a little nervous saying it on air. But I have to be courageous, because God has not given me a spirit of fear, So, just the things that I'm saying, in reference to maybe my stance on ICE, or just being a Republican. I couldn't tell you, because it's happened so much that I got to the point where I was like, I'm not getting on social media. I just got off of social media for a little bit because I need to take care of my mental health. I mean, I had people just looking for my profile to just come and say certain things. And the biggest issue is, I guess whenever I was told that, is that I believe that certain people need to take accountability on how they behave, and they're not. And that led to me being called certain things.
I see. So if you're elected, you might get this as well.
I know. And see, this is the thing. I am a Christian, right? And I believe that God puts you on a path and you cannot shy away from it. So if it was to happen, I believe that God would give me the courage and put my heart at ease, because there's no way if I'm getting the opportunity and it's there, I can't run away from it. So if I get the opportunity and people connect with me and want to vote for me and I win, there's no way I'm going to run away from that. I mean, I've been through so much, which that was one thing I didn't mention. So I am a trafficking survivor. So when I was about 4 years old, I was taken to the Dominican Republic. And so I was 4, so I don't know if there was exchange of money, right? But I was sold, right? The reason I bring that up is so you can understand where my courage comes from. I did not think I was ever going to, I didn't think I was going to see my parents again. I should say my mom. I want to sound cool, like I got parents. I don't know my dad. But it's not funny. But, after a while, you have to laugh at things and laugh at life.
That's right. You have to have a humor, right?
Yeah, because if not, what are you going to do?
To survive it,
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So I never thought I would see my mom again. And
where did this happen?
In the Dominican Republic.
But I thought you lived in New York City.
So I was born in New York City.
Right.
And then, so Dominicans always go to the Dominican Republic to vacation. Like, that's like a thing. We go every summer. Parents want to make sure you know Spanish and know the culture. The Dominican culture is very rich, and so parents want to make sure that you know it. So when you're born in America, it's very normal. At least kids in my, millennials, they know you go to Dominican Republic. Nowadays, I don't know if they still do that. But anyways, the point is we went on vacation, and my mom left us with, and I say us, my brother, with my grandma. And the way I believe, or the way I remember it, is I went to bed, and the next day I woke up in somebody else's bed. And
whose bed? Where were you?
Some stranger. It was a stranger.
Was it a man?
It was a family, and they owned a hotel. I remember that. So there's not too many things I can share about it, because I'm not going to get emotional. I don't want to get emotional.
It's traumatic.
Yeah, it's still traumatic.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get
that. First home I went to, one thing I remember that really was sad for me is they had 2 floors, and the second floor had a gate. So they would leave and they would lock the gate. So I was locked in the second floor. And then at times they would take me to the hotel they owned, and things happened to me there. So that's
4 years old.
Yeah, 4. I turned 5 there. That's how I remember. That's why I know I was 4, because I turned 5 out there.
Right.
Yeah. And so things happened there. Sexual abuse, and
At 4 years old.
Yeah,
Wow.
4 years old. Yeah. And it was my babysitter. So they had this 13-year-old boy babysitting me, and whatever. So I don't mean whatever, but I don't want to go into detail, if that makes sense.
I don't
right?
blame you. Yeah.
And so from there, from there I went to another home, and that home in the beginning, it was like a regular adoption. They loved me, took me to school, and then I'm a child. I don't know what happened.
Like, where's mommy?
Well, I did think that, but I was. So I'm bubbly now, but I feel like I've always been this way. Very carefree, very fun. I mean, so as a kid, you give me some candy, I'm having a good time. That's all I needed. Out there is honey. So honey was like the thing.
Right.
Oh, I love drinking honey, like straight out of the thing, or the carton or whatever. So anyways, I was there, took me to school. Everything was good. And then I think, I look at it now as an adult, and I feel that what happened is the same thing that happens to any parent. You need to do stuff with them, and so they get annoying, and so I got annoying. That's what I think. I don't know what happened, but I was loved, and then I wasn't. And one night, I woke up in the middle of the night, and she wanted me to take some pills, the lady who adopted me, and some guy.
She didn't really adopt you, though, because there was no legal system. They just took you.
Right. But also, you're hearing it from a perspective of a 4-year-old, right?
Okay.
So you're not, right. You're not hearing it from...
You're right.
Right. So she said, take these pills, and there was a gentleman there, and he had a gun to my head, and I'll never forget it. And at this point, I was 5 at this point, so this has been like a year. And I said no, and I'll never forget that. I don't think there'll ever be a day I'll ever forget saying no and having a gun to my head, And so, like, when I get my courage, I think about, well, they don't have a gun to your head, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You've been through so much.
Yes.
This is like nothing.
Yeah, right. And so after that, I didn't take the pills. Oh my gosh, I didn't know what it was going to, because I was young, so I knew death existed. Like, I understood, but I didn't understand, like, saying no. Like, you should say yes, right? But anyway, so.
Something just came to you. At that age, something very
that's why I believe in God.
wise came to you to be able to say no with a gun at your head.
Honestly, I had a voice telling me, everything's going to be okay. I didn't believe it, but I kept on hearing this voice, like, everything's going to be okay, right?
That's right.
And so she came back, and from there I lived outside. So I lived in the backyard at this point with the dogs. Yeah.
What did you have? Was there a tent? Was there... how did you sleep?
There was an area, I believe it was like a laundry area, and that's where the dogs hung out, and that's where I slept. Yeah. And I played in the chicken coop. And I was like so funny because I admire younger Vanessa. I admire her so much because I was so happy this whole time. And I was getting beaten. At this part is towards the end of the story. I'm about to get,
They actually beat you?
Yeah, I was beaten.
With their hands, or did they?
Honestly, I don't remember. I just remember having blood scabs on my head, and like just picking at it, and didn't understand why it was blood, but it was like blood on my head. So I don't know if I was hit with an object or just
Right.
hit. And the biggest thing with me was being starved. Like, I didn't eat. I don't even know how long I didn't eat. But I knew that, I think I didn't eat for a while because, guys, the dogs were talking to me. So the dogs were like, and it was a Rottweiler, and I forget that. Is it a Jack Russell? The dog from Wishbone? Do you guys ever remember Wishbone?
Vaguely, I remember that. It was a cute dog.
Yes, whatever dog. I think it's a Jack Russell. I think it is. Those were the dogs. There were a Rottweiler and a Jack Russell. And the Rottweiler would get up on me, and they're big, and he would say, "It's gonna be okay. Don't worry. They're gonna come to save you." And it's a little emotional. Hopefully, I don't get emotional, but I'm playing in the chicken coop. And I see this lady, and I'm like, I know that's my mom. And
she found you.
And we both locked eyes, started crying, and then I had to put some things from the backyard so the neighbors. So here's the thing. So Dominican Republic is third world country. So it's not like they could just call CPS and be like, hey, this is happening. Yeah. Like, I remember a little girl lived next door to me, and I went to visit her, and I would tell her, I'd say, hey, ask your mom if I can come over, because I knew whatever was going on, it was not fun, and her house was fun. And I just remember she stopped coming to the window, and I guess everybody in the neighborhood knew there was this little girl that, something...
It was kind of locked up, right?
Yeah,
you weren't allowed outside in the front.
No, I wasn't.
You were being starved, you were being beaten, and they knew it, and they didn't do anything about it?
Yeah, it's more so like mind your business, because, gangs are different out there. You don't know who's involved in a gang. Out here, there's like, there's a gang, and out there is like, machetes and things. And this is just me speculating why they didn't. I don't know. This was what, 1989, 18...
Maybe they were scared too.
Yes, they didn't know what kind
sense.
of... Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, and then you had that gentleman. Who knows who that gentleman was, right? So I don't know, but they were eager to help when my mom and they found out, and they helped me over the backyard. And so my faith... That was the whole story, to find out why I'm afraid, but I still do it. Because fear is an emotion that you can't always trust. Like, I literally thought I was going to die, but I didn't. So I realized that sometimes feelings is something...
Such a young age to feel like you're going to die. How did your mother end up finding you?
She said she hired a private investigator, and it took 2 years.
Do you think your grandmother was involved in this?
Oh, she sure was. She was.
She was your mother's mother?
Yeah, grandmother. Yeah.
Your own grandmother sold you?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I doubt that they would give me away. It would make more sense to sell, so that's why I say sell. Yeah. Like, who would, you know what I mean? So, yeah, she sold me.
Did you ever see your grandmother again?
No, never again. Never seen her again. But I had to forgive her. I had to let go. I had to forgive her. That's something that I did have to do, because I haven't forgiven the lady, so that's still kind of hard. That lady.
Did they jail her? Did they?
Oh my gosh, nothing happened to her. So we're talking about 80s, 90s. Things are different in the 80s and the 90s, right?
There's still trafficking.
Yes.
I've done a story on it. They're still doing it.
But we're talking about third world, and it depends. Yeah, it's third world, and then it depends on, if you had the resources to know the people to make a big story out of it. It was more so, I found my daughter. That's all I care about. So that's...
And then you came back to New York.
Yeah, and then I came back to New York.
Did you get therapy?
No.
What happened?
I did not get therapy. So I came back to the States, and I didn't know how to speak English at all. And
you were 6 years old at this time?
Yes.
Because it was 2 years.
Yes, yeah, 6. Well, like 7, because I think 6 was probably like the end of 6, because I remember my birthday, and I remember getting a birthday present in the Dominican Republic after being rescued. So I'm thinking maybe towards the end of 6, right? Because I went to school.
About 3 years.
Yeah, so the reason I say 6, I remember going like this. Like, I couldn't say 7, so, and I couldn't, I didn't do it like this. So I always went like that, so I remember I was 7. So I remember coming back to the States and not being able to speak English. And so that's why a lot of my heart goes to immigrants and just people who can't speak English. People treat you so badly. They treat you like you're dumb. they yell at you. So this is whole thing. Some people don't do it, but some people think if you don't speak a language, if they yell, then you'll understand. So I went through that, and that shaped me as a person, like just seeing that. So anytime I see someone who doesn't speak English, I'm very quick to go and help.
Well, I remember here in New York, sitting in a restaurant, my friend was from Japan, and she spoke English. She actually spoke good English. But the wait staff ignored that person. Like, what would you like? And then she would look at me. She was saying, what does she want?
Yeah.
And then she would tell him what she wanted.
That's happened to me.
And he would still only look at me to answer for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was weird. It was strange.
I've had that happen to me too. I think certain areas can be different, but I think it wasn't the same reason. It wasn't because I didn't speak the language. It was more so that they viewed that person more like in authority. And so they didn't, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, I've dealt with racism, and that's why it kills me when people say things to me about, don't you know you're black? I've had that. I've had people say that.
But you're half black, right?
No, I'm actually Dominican and Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Yeah, but here in America, you're not allowed to be Dominican or Puerto Rican if your skin has any melanin in it. And that is the fact that you can go online and you'll find out that if you have any melanin and you look like me, you have to say you're black or else you're being racist. That's a thing. If you didn't know it, now you do. So, yeah. Isn't that crazy? I find it crazy.
Put yourself in someone else's shoes and see how they get treated, because you don't.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about I guess what shaped me in life is that I am Dominican, and I identify as that. I was raised Dominican, so I am half Puerto Rican, but my dad was never around. So I'm part of the statistic, the broken home. Did
he leave after you were born, or did he stay for a while, or what happened with that?
Listen, I could write you a book. Well, I don't know. That's something I will never know. And out of respect to certain people, that's all I got to say about that.
There's a story there, I can tell.
Yeah. But, you have to get over things, But the fact is that I lost my train.
Well, how were you able to get through all this and get over it, as you say?
Yeah. Really, to see that, I don't know that you ever really get over things. I think that you learn how to cope. Yeah. I don't think you ever get over. You learn how to cope, and you have to be that inner cheerleader. When everyone's yelling and saying you're this or you're that, you have to say, hey, no, you're great. You're awesome. Look at all these things that you overcome. So that's how I get through. In the moment, you say something to me, I'll sit here and I'll cry. I will cry. But I will go home and I will cheer myself back up. And that next day, it'll be like nothing ever happened. Because you have to be grateful for being alive and being able to have another chance and another day. So those are the things that keep me going. And
so you have empathy,
yes,
which you can bring,
yes,
if you're elected. Yes. Empathy for
everyone. I mean, I think people are misunderstood. I think both sides are misunderstood. And I think no one wants to give each other a chance. It's either you're part of this group or you're not, and I wish for us to go back to, I don't know, but I remember a time where there was people of all political parties and having cookouts and having birthdays and celebrating holidays, and no one talked about politics. And you see your parents, they love you. They've been there for you your whole life. And it saddens me so much to hear people go no contact over them not believing the same thing. And to me, it's so sad, because just because I may not believe in this specific thing, that doesn't mean that I don't love you. And I don't care for you more than anybody else in the world. And you have a kid, I'm a mom. I love my son from here to the moon. Like, I love him.
How old is he now?
He is 19. He is a big kid. But I love him so much, and I don't see anything that would take that love away. And when these kids go no contact, they go to these different groups and they have agendas. And they're out of their family who actually love them, and they fall into really bad situations. And those are things that I want people to see. And I think there's there are people, I should say, that don't want to look at that. That there are kids that are going through trafficking because they feel misunderstood, and someone told them, well, all you got to do is cut your family off, and here we're going to help you, and they talk to the wrong person and get trafficked. But these are things that are actually happening.
Do you think you can help with the trafficking? I know here in Lancaster, I think they arrested about 41 people.
That's something that
because you've experienced it.
Yes.
So how do you think we can handle it better?
I think I am going to sound so old right now, but I think social media is something that we as a nation need to get these kids off, because I feel like that's
completely off.
Yeah, because I really I believe that it's hurting their learning. I think that there's studies out there. I don't know the name of the study, right? But there are studies that are said that their cognitive faculties are not developing as good as other generations. And they say that the biggest factor is electronics. So I think introducing electronics to kids early is hurting their development. And then when they become teenagers, I mean, you can never escape bullying. And then when it comes to trafficking, you have these little kids that are making content wholesomely, and then you have some parents actually pimping their kids out for pedophiles.
Have you seen this or met anyone where that's happened?
Yes, there was a girl who was on YouTube, and there was like a whole lawsuit about.
How long ago was this?
I want to say is 2019.
Okay.
And I'm just going to apologize for not knowing names. And,
that's okay.
But it was these kids, and it was a young girl, and she was doing content, and then the mom was getting other kids to come and do content. Then she was asking them to do things that were inappropriate for teenagers, and they tried to sue her, but I forget how it happened that they couldn't sue her. When I find it, I can send it to you later on.
Okay.
But then that young girl now is OnlyFans, and people were waiting for her to turn 18, and there's many girls who they wait till they're turning 18 just to get onto OnlyFans.
They groom them to go onto OnlyFans.
Yes.
And it starts in the social media.
Yes. And I don't think that it's necessary. There's no reason for children to have podcasts.
How would you handle that, though?
I think
what policy would you implement because they're all on it?
Well,
how do you curtail it?
I think that parents need to start getting together, and there are a lot of parents who agree with this view. And I think if they got together and figure out, I'm thinking more so age limits are actually followed, because they say, you shouldn't get it until this age, but you have 7-year-olds on there, you have 8-year-olds on there, and then also time limits. After a certain time, you shouldn't be on there, because I don't think that it's realistic to say teenagers get off the internet completely. I don't think that's realistic, but I think it is to say, you've had an hour.
It's addicting.
Yeah.
It's addicting, isn't it?
But the countries that have the most advances have the less time on the internet, social media specifically. We have close to 4 hours, they say, social media. I think it's about 5. But we as Americans average 4 hours a day on social media.
It's a lot.
Do you know how much Japan averages? 30 minutes to an hour. How many things can we thank Japan for?
I lived in Japan. It seemed like they were on a lot. That surprises me.
Yeah, well, the average.
Because they love the anime.
Well, the anime.
And the games. They love gaming.
Anime and social media, it's going to be different. So we're talking about social media hours.
But the gaming is just as
addicting,
isn't it?
It is addicting, but I think that social media is specifically harmful. I don't like the whole gaming, right? We didn't go through that. I didn't look at the average for that. But I think that's very easy to control. Like, no, that's it. You're off the Xbox, But social media, as far as what people are saying, there are older people that are having access to young kids. And I've also heard that there's off-market, I don't know if they call it the internet, the black internet. I don't know what it's called, but you can actually buy profiles of young people. Like, you can pretend to be a young person. And Roblox is like a big thing. I don't know if you've ever heard older people being on Roblox, asking kids to meet them up. So these are things that are actually happening. And so I don't have all the answers.
But you know the danger of it because of your experience, what you went through.
Yes. And but I think that, to say this is what will stop it, I don't know that I have the specific answer, but I think that if a lot of us parents know that we feel the same, I think it's going to work on its own. People are going to find out networks and how to avoid these.
So what would you say is the core then of your campaign, what you want to accomplish?
My core is the data centers, which I think goes hand in hand with social media and gaming too, and streaming. There's like a whole streaming demographic of people, which does also hurt the children. It hurts the children developing, because I think there's a lot of people who stream who feel they're above others. So they have no empathy and they don't. I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
No, I was going to say, going back to the AI centers, you're against the AI centers coming here?
Yes, specifically here because I feel like this is Amish country, and we start taking land. It's gonna snowball really quickly, and farmlands are gonna be less and less, and it's gonna be our energy is gonna go up, because they take a lot of energy to run, and I believe they use a lot of water. But also, I feel like we have to push back from too much AI. I think that AI can be useful, but we are already disconnected from each other. Bringing more AI is going to bring us more disconnected, and I think that we are. So
you would vote against the AI centers coming to the district that you would represent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would. I would vote against that. I think that other places can do it. I don't think that Pennsylvania should do it.
Okay. Yeah. So that's your core campaign, going against the AI centers, helping with the social media.
Yeah. In families, like unifying is something important. Like that's my core campaign, is bringing families back, and the data centers, fighting against them. But more than anything, we need to come together. There's nothing
How are you going to do that, though? What strategy, or what would you do to bring people together, regardless of being Democrat, Republican?
I think the neighbor analogy is very strong.
So how would you implement that, though?
How would I implement that?
Yeah.
I think that, when I think about it, and I should think about it more, right, is developing more community connection. I think that, having events.
How would you do the community connection?
Events. I think having events and having people who all have these issues or things that they're struggling in their community. I think the elderly, they need a spokesperson. Things that people are just struggling with. I think events is a big thing, and just having speakers and having your most vulnerable. Like, what is it that what are you dealing with in your neighborhood that you need help with, whether it's Democrat or Republican? Because I think we all have the same concerns. A lot of people want safety, and a lot of people want community, and a lot of people are scared.
Where are you aligned with the Republican Party and their policies?
Their policies,
as opposed to the Democrats?
I align mostly with Christian values, and when I say Christian values, I'm talking about mom and dad. Being together, families working together. I feel like when I think about Christianity, I think about a Holy Father, and I think that is important. The fathers and mothers are important for our families, and if we don't have good families, we don't have good societies.
And you think the Republicans are more aligned with families than the Democrats?
I believe so. Because, if you talk about Christianity, it's almost frowned upon. There's a lot of people who say that it's a white religion. That's what you get a lot of people saying in the Democratic Party when you talk about being Christian. They make you feel bad for being a Christian. And if you look like me, they tell me, well, how the white man made you to believe that way. And that's a lot of Democrats, at least the ones I come across. Now, I'm not going to lie. There are some great Democrats that I have as friends, and they don't talk like that at all. So I'm not going to say that the whole party's that way, but we could say the same thing about Republicans. Not every Republican's Christian, and not every Republican is living like a Christian or wants to instill Christian values.
But you feel they're more aligned to
they're
your,
aligned to that,
your
yes.
values.
Yes, because, one thing is God never makes any mistakes. That's what we believe as Christians when I say
right.
we. And to say that you were made in a body that wasn't for you, you're saying that God made a mistake. So that to me is Christian, to say there's a man and there's a woman.
So you're against transgender?
No, I'm not against transgender. I'm against saying that you were born in the wrong body. I love people. And if I have come in contact with a transgender right. and they want me to call them Susie, Billy, whatever, I will respect their views. But when it comes to making laws, I think that I'm very strong on, just being a woman. It is so hard to be a woman. And you can't just take that and put it in a box. And when you tell me that this man woke up, or he's been thinking about his whole life, and that is who he really is, you're saying that I'm not valid then. You actually say that. If anybody can be a woman, then women are not valid. And when I look at the Republican Party, they believe in God. Well, not everybody, right? But supposedly, most of the Republicans should believe in God. And they should push that. And when they separate the two, man being a man and a woman being a woman, I think that that's more Christian. So that's my strongest part. And I do feel like they are fighting against trafficking when I look at the border and things like that. Because open borders was bringing a lot of unaccompanied minors. And people weren't paying attention to
and
that.
they got lost.
Yes.
They didn't know where
gosh.
some of them were. They were just...
Yeah.
They still don't know where a lot of them are,
yes.
the kids.
That's
right.
The last number I heard, and it could be higher, was 89,000 children they didn't know where they were. Like, they placed them in a home, and when they went back, they weren't there.
And some of them were trafficked, right?
Yes. Or even child labor, but yes. So that's like one of the reasons. But I feel like it's such a controversial topic, and I hate that it is controversial, because I think it's okay if that's what you want to do with your life, that's your life. But to say we all should believe that that's the right thing to do, that's where I have a problem.
Or it's taught to young kids.
Yes.
At an early age, before
yes.
they've even developed
yes.
sexually.
Yes. And speaking from someone who was sexually abused, learning about sex too early affects you.
You were sexually abused
yes.
between 4 and 6.
Yes. And here's the thing. Actually, a little bit further than that, because I had neighbors that were weird, and yeah. So, I think that I stopped getting molested when I was about 8 or 9 years old. So I was molested from 4 to 9.
How do you overcome something like that?
You go crazy first.
But you seem so grounded, and you've been through so much.
Honestly, it's knowing that there's a higher power, and that this life is not it. There's another life to look forward to, where there's no pain, there's no hurt, there's no bad. That is so awesome to look forward to.
So your religion has grounded you and given
yes.
you the courage to go on.
Yes.
That's what's
yes.
grounded you. Anything else besides that?
My religion and no. Also, and this is just something I say, but just being Dominican, island people are just so fun and so happy, and it doesn't matter what's going on. These people could have a penny to their name and they're having a great time. And I feel like I've embodied that. So yes, life could be horrible, but the sun is shining and we have a great plate of food and you're great and the music's good. So I feel like part of that.
Just be happy for what you have.
Yeah.
Don't try and get something. If you're happy.
Yeah. Right
just
now.
Be grateful.
Yes. And so I think part of being Dominican, but here's the thing.
Culture.
Dominican Republic is the only flag with the open Bible. It's the only flag that has the open Bible.
I didn't know that.
No, right? A lot of people don't know that. So I think just Christianity is just part of. So I don't know that there's anything else, but I do think like island culture is just. You come up here and you got Southern people. They're real fun and nice, and then you got the Northerners. They're always upset about something. So Southerners almost like island people, and I find that way of living so fun.
But was there any person that influenced you, that helped you, that you had like a mentor?
A mentor?
That helped you get over a lot of this?
If I really thought about it, I've talked to a lot of people, and I just do a lot of crying. So I can't say that the mentor, but I know there's this lady that I know, and a lot of Southern people, I should say, they're so, they just get everything done with the most little bit of resources. So I think just Southern people. I had a lady in West Virginia, and she lived on a farm, and the things she did from sun up to sundown, and you never seen a frown on her face. And then I've met some country people out here as well. So just really great moms.
They inspired you.
Yeah, great moms inspire me.
Did you want to ask anything?
No. I think your platform is wonderful, and I did have a question came to mind, because this area, it's purple, but I feel like it's kind of trending blue a little bit, and you see a lot of activism, like they had the No Kings rallies here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people here that don't like Trump, we'll put it that way.
Right.
And I guess my question is, how do you get people to focus more on the local? Because they shouldn't hold that against you, because you're running as a Republican.
Yeah.
So if somebody doesn't like the president or whatever, national politics they don't like, how do you get them to focus on
you and your path,
and
who you are?
Yeah. I think
good question.
I think my biggest strategy that I think is to get to know the people, find out what it is that they're struggling with in that city. And also, I remind people all the time, when I was going door to door getting signatures, I came across that, and they said, well, what about Palestine? And I said, well, you know what? I'm local. And it said like potholes. And you know what I mean? How about the taxes, or where they're taking land here and they want to put apartments. How do you feel about that? And a lot of the people that I did talk to kind of were like, yeah, you're right. So I think just bringing that back to mind, and I think that all of the nation, everybody, not just Pennsylvania, everybody should start thinking about their local government. Because going out and doing these protests are great if you think so, but I think more so is getting in there and getting the policies you want. And I mean that for anybody. So for me, it is letting people know that you get to vote the school board. You don't like how the school's going? That's you. That's not Trump.
It's the vote.
Right. You got the people at the city council. They decided you can't park here anymore. That wasn't Trump. That was the city council. They want to raise your property taxes. Guess what? That wasn't Trump. That's your governor, your mayor, your state rep, the fire department. Those are all local people that affect you, and we should pay more attention to that. And I think that I personally believe that this is a trick. Get us fighting each other so they can come in. And this is just my personal opinion. I may sound like a nutcase, okay? But get us fighting with each other so AI can start taking over our jobs, taking over our land. And next thing you know, it doesn't matter if you voted for this person or that person, because the choice is going to be made. That's how I feel. And I feel like right now is a pivotal moment where all of us working people can come together. And I think that I can relate to your average American, because I come from humble beginnings, and I care more about people than making money. And if you had me as an insurance agent, you know that. And that speaks for itself.
Would you go against, suppose your party wanted to increase taxes, because we're all concerned about taxes.
Yeah, I would go.
Would you go against like Janet did, Janet Diaz?
Yeah.
She went against her party because she didn't believe in raising the taxes. Would you do the same thing?
I would go against anything I did not believe in. And that's why I don't know that I have a fighting chance. Because as I go into different circles, I feel like even if it's not politics, wherever it is, you have to be in a box. And if you're not in that box, no one wants to vote for you. No one wants to support you. So I am not a in the box kind of girl. You look at me, some of the things I do are a little Democrat-y. Other things I do are a little Republican. I'm a person. And if I feel like I don't want to vote for raising taxes, I'm not going to do it. And I'm okay being that one person in the room that doesn't want to do it.
Are you
It's
for
scary.
raising taxes? How are you on it?
I'm not. I'm not for raising taxes.
Okay.
I'm for what I really want to see is more commercial property being built in Millersville. I talk about Millersville. I want to know about Lancaster, what are they facing, but Millersville is facing, them building all these properties. So we're going to need more schools. We're going to need, our roads are going to have to get, enlarged.
Are you pro the development?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I want more commercial. We have the university, we have schools, we have churches.
What do you mean more commercial is development, isn't
Commercial as in paying taxes into, so the developments are paying, right? But we have the developments and then we just have schools. We have mostly churches. We don't have a lot of cafes. We don't have restaurants.
Oh, so you want more cafes. And
so they could pay.
You want more services and restaurants,
right?
And things like that, rather than development of complexes.
Entrepreneurship.
Right. Yeah,
entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Okay,
and they pay into taxes. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And they pay into taxes instead of putting all the taxes on the homeowners. Because when they build those schools and they build, the roads, that all goes back to the homeowners, and that's why I'm against.
That's a current issue right now.
It is.
It's a big issue.
Yeah.
So it's good to know where you stand on that.
Yeah, that is a big issue. And I believe that there is a property, I'm not sure if it's been approved, St. Phillips, right there on Manor, across the street from St. Phillips. That's a property that's been debated to build more on, all the way down to where Sheets is, or right before the other apartment. So that's going to just change the whole demographic of the city as well.
And you're against that?
I am.
Okay.
A lot of people move away from the city to be away from the city.
Is there anything else you're adamantly against? AI, development, taxes.
Yeah, the taxes.
Okay.
I really just, I really am pro-women,
That's good.
I am. I'm pro-woman. So,
you mean for equal opportunity for women? Is that what you mean?
Protecting women, just protecting women, women's spaces. That is something so important to me. We've fought so hard to get our spaces and our voices to be heard, for people to say, well, no, that's a woman too. And I don't think that should be something that should be frowned upon or fought against. I think that everyone should want to protect little girls and women to have their own spaces.
And you've gone through a lot with that.
Yes.
So you would be really good for that.
Yes. I mean, I was molested in areas where I thought I was protected. Do you know what I mean? And to think that no one believes, and I feel this with all my heart, that there's a lot of people on the other side that don't believe that it's a danger. It's scary.
They don't believe there's evil out there.
Yeah.
And there is.
Yeah, and I to me, I'm like, I'm going to live my life regardless, right? But I do make different changes. Like, I will go to Planet Fitness, but I just won't go change. I won't go get changed. I'll go to the bathroom. Don't mind going to the bathroom, but I won't go get changed.
Why?
Because I don't know what I'm going to come across.
But it's female locker room.
Female. So Planet Fitness has already had issues in other states about, there's a lady she's actually running. Oh man, I wish I knew her name. She went into the bathroom and she was getting changed, and there was somebody in there just kind of like lingering. When you go to
a woman or a man? It was a woman lingering?
A woman that was a man.
Oh, a transgender was in the locker room.
Yeah, and here's the thing with me. My thing as far as being around transgender or anybody.
Was he leering at her?
Yes. And then when she confronted him, he said, I have all right to be in here.
Did she sue Planet Fitness?
Planet Fitness, I don't think that she got very far. She got on the news and now she's running, but I
heard about that case.
Yeah. She didn't get very far as suing them. No, that's.
But it was a transgender that liked women and was using that to leer at them?
I don't know that he liked women, but when a man looks at you and you're getting, you're getting addressed, it's weird, Especially, if anybody's looking at you that way. And then here's the thing.
And you're in the dressing room thinking you're in a safe place to change your clothes.
Yeah, and I come from a culture that we all women get undressed together. We don't have to hide in a little closet. We all have the same parts. So there's a lot of women who feel that way. And then when you have somebody who's looking at you, it's weird, right? But then it's also more predatory when you know it's a man.
So you would help women feel safe from predators.
Yeah.
You would institute more policies,
Yes.
or
I would want to just help with those girls who are already out there, help protect the sports, the spaces, and that's something that's really important
Abuse.
to me. Yeah.
All right. Is there a message? We could go on and talk for a lot longer, but it's already an hour.
Yeah.
Is there a core message that you want to give the listeners about you that you want them to know before
Sure.
we end?
Sure. I guess my message is that I may not look like the most qualified. I may not know everything that Izzy knows, but I'm a hard worker and I will fight like I do for my family, for my community, and I'm honest about what I don't know, and I'm open to learn, and I'm a hard worker. I feel like that's something that we need. We need genuine people, and we need people that are like the working class, not people who have been rich all their lives, that they get into these positions and really it's just another paycheck. I'm doing it because I care about my community. So, and please don't be too mean to me. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.